Hey, Rumble World Entertainment, and a crazy story has happened that just is mind-boggling. It was mind-boggling when we heard it the first time with a number. That's right, this story actually happened about 5 or 6 years ago, but now there's an update to it. And of course, it's also pushing something else that really just says, yeah, this seems like it's dead. We are, of course, talking about none other than Jar Jar Abrams, otherwise known to his parents, I suppose, as J.J. Abrams, but we all know what he is, an absolute window licker. His initial deal with Warner Brothers, if you remember, coming up either towards the Rise of Skywalker or after it, they gave him a colossal deal that was $500 million. Now, it didn't mean they paid him flat out $500 million. I believe they actually handed him out $250 million, which is stupid, to produce things for them and make things for them. And of course, he was meant to take over DC. That was one of the things. And we all know that didn't happen because James Gunn is in charge of DC. So the question then, of course, fell into, well, what was exactly going to happen with his and Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Superman movie? The movie nobody wanted, nobody asked for, nobody was interested in. Everybody said, number one, why in God's name would you have J.J. Abrams work on it? And number two, why would you get an anti-American 9/11 lover? He praised what happened on 9/11, and just all around piece of human shit like Ta-Nehisi Coates to write for Superman. The same guy who absolutely destroyed other characters such as Captain America. Yeah, the most anti-American dude you have writing the most American heroes. Well, the movie seems to actually be dead, which we all knew anyway. But this is pretty much clarifying that for us. Even though they're trying to hint, oh no, it's still alive at the studio, it really isn't. There's absolutely no plans for this to go forward. Why would there be? Why would Warner Brothers even want to continue working with him? Which is where the weird part comes in with this story as well, because this is a headline at Variety. J.J. Abrams sets new TV and film production pact with Warner Brothers, signaling the end of the mega deal era. Now, what they're talking about there is he has just signed a new deal to produce more garbage for Warner Brothers. How much of the deal is it now? Well, it's way lower. He's not getting that 500 million anymore. Question really is, why would they even continue working with him? Why would they give him this new deal, seeing as the fact that they offered him the $500 million, which we'll look at a bit of this article, and you'll really see how much of it was all just a power play, because he's done nothing. He started to write one show that by the time he was handing scripts into Warner Brothers, he had run the budget, if it was to go to production, up past $200 million. And Warner Brothers just like, yeah, no, that's not happening. Not a hope in hell is that happening. The only other thing he actually made for them was the Batman Caped Crusader that he handed in the pilot into Warner Brothers, and they just went, yeah, this is unwatchable. We will lose money if we were to put this on. Let's sell it. And that's what they did. And you notice it's such a hit over at Amazon, nobody even remembers that it came out, or that it was on, or that it's even a thing. So let's have a look at a bit of this, and then we'll jump and look at the part that talks about the Superman end of things. So back in June 2019, J.J. Abrams struck a massive overall deal that would keep him in the fold at Warner Brothers, his home studio since 2006. Now, isn't that interesting that they say it was his home since 2006? Well, how loyal was he then to his so-called home that he jumped ship to Paramount, couldn't even finish the Star Trek series for them before he jumped ship to Disney, and then he jumped from Disney back to Warner Brothers. Good God. And we haven't seen him since. Rise of Skywalker. But let's continue. The 5-year pact, which is now done by the way, pegged at $500 million at the time, had a unique structure that allowed Abrams to draw from a significant pool of money to sign other writers to overall deals. To see what I mean, this is where the power play comes in. That positioned the multi-hypernet behind Facility and Lost not just as a content creator, but a mogul whose Bad Robot production company would incubate the next generation of storytellers, with Abrams and his wife, Kate McGrath, overseeing the stable. 5.5 years later, Warner Brothers doesn't have much to show for all the coin that it showered on Abrams, even as the value of the deal dropped by half because Bad Robot failed to reach the financial and output benchmarks that would have triggered the full 500 million. So that's where you're hearing it went from the 500 down to the 250 because he gave them nothing. So now it's gone down again apparently. So with less leverage than it had in 2019, Abrams' team has quietly closed a more modest production pact with the studio that sources say will cover film and television. It's a signal to agents and managers around town that the era of the 9-figure writer-producer megadeal has peaked. It also says Bad Robot and Warner Brothers have declined comment, and apparently so did DC. Now, here's the thing. The power play structure, why did I say that? Because he's positioned himself to bring in anyone he wants. He's positioned Bad Robot in there to get as much power that they will be the production company. And his wife. Who's his wife again? Oh yes, one of the heads of the Me Too movements. Yeah. Who everybody said, isn't that interesting that whole Me Too thing really got kickstarted by J.J. Abrams' wife. It was almost like it was a power play. And here's the two of them now gonna be a part of Warner Brothers. As for Superman, well, in Variety's report about Abrams' new deal, the site says, on the big screen, plenty of hype surrounded an Abrams-produced Black Superman film with a script by Ta-Nehisi Coates. That project is technically still alive, but has seen no forward movement since early 2023. It says the info lines up with DC insiders who have said the Black Superman is no longer happening. Variety adds that Warner Brothers is instead focused on James Gunn's new Superman, which is, of course they are. And it says, instead, Warner Brothers / DC has the James Gunn directed Superman reboot hitting theaters on July 11th. So then Gunn had something to say about it, and it says James Gunn actually touched upon the Black Superman last year, a few months after he was announced as the head of DC Studios, and while promoting the release of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Gunn said it could happen as part of DC's Elseworlds, which includes projects like the Matt Reeves Batman universe and the Joker movies. So it's not happening. At the end of the day, it's not happening. Is J.J. Abrams going to actually live up to this new deal that he has that is quite significant less than both the original number that was on the table for him? Now, they didn't give him it was on the table, which is why they say he had the unique position of using as much of the money as he wanted to bring in other creators, which he didn't do. Then they halved it to 250 and he still brought them nothing. So God knows what it is now. But the question still is, why would you still give this dickhead more money and more positions to work for a company that he's done nothing for? Hey, here's a shit ton of money. Make us something 5 years later. Hey, is he still on our books? Yeah. Oh, maybe we should renew his deal, but we'll just lower the price. Why would you even renew it? Black Superman? Nobody wanted it. The fact that it says the much hype surrounding it, there was no hype for it. Absolutely no hype. There was people going, why in God's name would you do that? Why would you give it to J.J. Abrams? And why in the hell would you let Ta-Nehisi Coates be the writer of it? And by the way, just so you know, they never managed to turn in a script. Ever. There was no script for that Superman film ever handed in. They missed not one, not two, but 5 deadlines to hand in that script. And they missed all 5. This just goes to show that Warner Brothers still is one of the dumbest companies in America. So, with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Okay, I'm going. Take off.